Let's go for a ride. We'll slap on the old saddlebags. I keep some S-clips in these saddlebags. I use them to attach the bags to the rails. Shortly I'll be showing you how that's done. I can move these saddlebags between all three of my bikes. The racks have been designed in such a way that they match up to the saddlebags perfectly. The eye hooks in the saddlebag slide into slots in the rail, and the S-clips hold it in place. Very stable system. It only takes about a minute or two to put the bags on and to remove them. There, all done. Next we'll see how the clips are used. As you can see, the eye hooks go through the slots in the frame and the S hooks hold them in place. Now let's take a little closer look at the framework. This is all made from 1/2 inch EMT pipe. Pipe is really inexpensive, but it's proves to be quite strong when you bend it. I don't think I spent more than $3 or $4 on pipe. That includes experimental waste, and the bender cost me somewhere around $38 at Harbor Freight. I think it's more than paid for itself. Now let's have a look at the tail bag. This is a Walmart special. I think it cost somewhere around $18 about 6 or 7 years ago. It's very similar to the First Gear Onyx bag that I have on the other two bikes. The Onyx is no longer available, so I pulled this one out of the storeroom and mounted it on the bike. Works good, except that it really is permanently mounted. It didn't come with bungee cords and that sort of thing, so I had to bolt it on. Now we're looking at the homemade crash bar for the front. Again, 1/2 inch EMT pipe, U-bolt mounting at the bottom, and bolted to the upper front down tube. Now we're going to look at some of the upper level modifications, all perfectly functional. That's my remote GoPro remote. This is the view from the back with the temperature gauge clock, voltage meter mounted to the bracket that holds my camera, auxiliary horns from Harbor Freight, some LED lights, again a $20 special from Amazon.com. The crossbar mounting that holds my GoPro camera, and a hub that powers the camera, the backpack, and the remote from the bike. Saves on batteries. My hand guards served as a perfect mounting place for most of the horns and the LED lights. What I'm fiddling with right here is the safety strap for my camera bag that hooks onto the D-ring on the camera case, keeps the case from falling off. The power distribution, cigarette lighter, GPS, all that good stuff. Just what you need for being out on the back road and you're coming across some wildlife. You want that camera real handy. And a little close-up of the skid plate. It had to be notched to mount that engine crash bar, but that's no big deal. Now we'll show how to remove the clips from the frames. A little more room on this bike. My other bikes are a little tighter, but you can still do it pretty easy. Here we're pulling the bags off after the clips have been removed. Don't scratch that plastic. Now the bags are removed, we can get a little better look at the frames. They attach to existing bolts that are on the bike. Some I had to extend the length of the bolt. This is a 90-degree bend to connect the tubing. Some L brackets cut down. Some hot water insulation pipe stuff for hand grabs. This helps really when you're trying to move the bike around. Flat bar stock. Those vertical tabs are for my map carrier, which I'll show in a minute. Now we'll mount the map carrier. It's a custom-made container that holds up to 2 DeLorme atlases. Same mounting method with the S-clips. The tabs fit through the slots in the frame. And the S-clips hold it in place. Here are the 2 DeLorme atlases. Snaps hold the cover on nice and tight if you're on the rough road. There's a strap that holds the atlases from going down so you can grab onto them. When you lower the cover, the strap lets the atlases go down into the case. You want to get into an atlas, you lift the cover and the strap holds the atlases up a little bit so you can grab onto them. Yeah, figure out where we're going today. Oh yeah, nice swampy area there. Shouldn't have any trouble. There we can remove this by pulling the S-clips, lifting the box, and back home again. A little detail of the back with the tabs and the upper hook. Now back up on top, mounting the camera case on the holder. Slides right over the mount. And the safety lock goes onto the D-ring. Holds it nice and steady, within easy reach if you need it in a hurry. Unzip it, take out your camera, and you're in business. I love that Nikon S9000 camera. Takes really good videos too. This video is being shot with it on video mode. And now some close-ups of the custom mounting tabs. That's for the LED, auxiliary lights, running lights, and the horns. And the other side for the LED lights. It's kind of tricky getting the right angles for some of these, but I did it. There's the GoPro mount and the hub and the auxiliary horn. The horns mount to the handguard bars. Looking at it from the other side, you can see how I had to use spacers to keep the handguard bars out from the wiring and associated things that are in the way. And the mount for the remote sending unit for the GoPro. That's really handy because you can use your left hand to just reach up and turn it on and off. I do have another video showing the wiring and the camera and all that stuff mounted. Okay, this is the power setup for my GoPro camera. You also notice I have some Harbor Freight auxiliary horns and some LED running lights. The bracket holding the horns together made a perfect mount for the GoPro camera, and the camera is powered from a USB port, which I'll show later, but it goes through this hub to power all three devices on the GoPro: the remote, the camera, and the backpack. And we're using a Hero-2 camera, and that has a port on the side for the power for the camera, and the other side powers the backpack. Down here we have the USB and a cigarette lighter power connector. The cigarette lighter power connector powers my GPS, and the USB connector powers the hub. Over here on this side is the remote. Notice that I have a slight shield to protect it from any rain coming down, and that mounts on the mirror stock. Makes it easy to turn it on and off. Additional equipment on this bike is a little holder for my pocket Nikon camera, a LED voltage indicator for the bike, and backing up a little bit, we can see what it looks like from the cockpit. Here is the mounting for the remote bracket. It uses a couple of cable ties, rubberized inserts to keep it from pivoting. It's not solid, but it's enough to hold it. The wiring is just wrapped around. I want to be able to take everything apart for normal riding, so all this cabling is just wrapped around that center bar. This is a close-up of the hub with nothing connected to it. There are 4 ports. I'm using 3 of them. goes down to the power distribution point on my bike, and the cable goes around and is tie wrapped underneath. Keep it up tight. That probably will stay on the bike all the time. And of course the mount for the GoPro. Here are the components for the camera, which is a Hero-2, two relatively short USB cables, and the remote with its own special cable. I had to buy a separate one from GoPro, connected up to a USB port, just the length of it. I do use this setup on my KLR 650 as well.